What's up, guys? Welcome back to Echoing Theology. I'm psyched. Welcome to episode 10. Here today we have a special guest, a good friend of mine, Tom. How's it going, Tom?
Going well. How are you, Dale?
Good, good. Do you want to go by Tom or Thomas for this?
Tom. Tom
Tom?
sounds
Okay,
perfect.
okay, just making sure. Um, great. Well, yeah, you're going to learn about Tom today as we talk a little bit more about the Echo program. Tom is an Echo 21, so very new to the program. Hasn't even gotten his placement yet, but we're gonna talk a little bit about that as we go. So, Tom, welcome to Echoing Theology.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Great, great. So if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, what you're up to, things like that, that'd be great.
Yeah. So my name's Tom. I'm originally from Severn, Massachusetts, small little city called Taunton, very close to Providence, Rhode Island, and Cape Cod. If anyone listening knows where that is, I hope they do. It's an awesome area known for its cranberries and um, just awesome beaches during the summer too. Um, I I am in Echo 21, or I'm going into Echo 21. Um, I am currently finishing off my senior year at Saint Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. I am completing my theology and music double major here for my undergraduate degree. It's been an excellent 4 years here. Um, I'm trying to think what else might be good to know about me. Um, and I'm a big sports guy, Boston fan through and through. So Red Sox, Patriots, all that kind of stuff. Very, athletic. Love to go out on runs and doing things like that. I get very competitive with things too. So if there's ever a game of volleyball or basketball or anything like that, I might not win, but I will certainly put my whole heart and being into it.
You'll fit right in. You will fit right in the summer for, telling you. So
That's good to know. Um, Absolutely. And yeah, I'm very excited for this next chapter with Echo. I'm looking forward to the stuff coming up soon and finishing off things here at St. Anselm and moving to South Bend in June.
yeah, it's coming quickly, dude. We're recording this on what's today, the 13th of April, which this will be released Monday on the 15th of April of 2024. So you're looking at about I think 6.5 weeks before we got to be in South Bend. So
Yeah.
you're coming in on the second, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I thought. I'm coming in on the why I'm asking. So, um, but I will be going back to New England first because we have three of my best friends are getting ordained to the diaconate on the 25th. So I figured go home first and then go to the great New England territory, as you know. I'm really glad that you're here, Tom, because we get to talk about New England a little bit. I love talking about New England. It's a
Absolutely.
great place. Um, Great. So you also mentioned that you go to St. Anselm College. How big is St. A's for anyone that does not know?
Yeah, so St. Anselm College is about 2,000 students, 2,000 undergraduates with some new graduate programs that have kind of just started coming up. A lot of great opportunities here. My class is about a little over 500. So it's a nice small college, liberal arts college, located in Manchester, New Hampshire. Um, and yeah, they're run by the Benedictine order. So if anyone one of you is listening from St. Anselm or Benedictine College or any of the other colleges run by the Benedictine monks, I'm right there with you. And yeah, they really set a lot of the tone for campus and um, very vibrant theology departments. But still a small institution, which is very nice. I've really enjoyed it over my last 4 years.
Great. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And also, I think you're gonna have one classmate. I think when I was looking at the list, I could be wrong because I haven't gotten to know the whole list yet. Um, I'm still trying to put like faces with names and names with colleges and things. You, I know, of course, but everybody else, I have no idea who they are. So, but I'm looking forward to meeting them. That's not a dig at anybody. Um, I think you're gonna have one classmate from Benedictine College, maybe two. I know my class we have, I think four. I think we have four from Benedictine. Shout out
Yeah, I know we have a few. I can't remember who, but I do know there's a few.
for your class.
Yes, and there's also there's a guy from Boston College that I got to meet
Yeah.
during my Echo Discernment Day, Sean. So I'm excited to meet up with him on campus in June as well.
Great, awesome. Yeah, I do want to touch base on that, but we'll come back to that in just a minute. Um, so obviously you haven't started Echo yet, but you kind of have an idea of, what the program asks of you, as far as placement, relocating, that type of thing. Do you think St. Anselm's prepared you for this type of program, this type of ministry?
Absolutely. I think St. Anselm, I mean, first and foremost, Echo is formation, but it's also an academic program. So as an academic program, I feel that St. Anselm has prepared me well, both in the rigor of the theology department here and also just the amount of connections I've been able to make here. It's also, I think, prepared me well in the sense of community as well. Our college is, I'd say, if you talk to any graduate of St. Anselm College, first thing that they might talk about is the community on campus. Our campus just has an awesome community with, it's never a question of like holding a door for another person. Like they could be walking up the walkway like 10, 15 seconds away, but most people here are still holding that door and building up that community. And St. Anselm is really the first place where I really started to learn to develop a faith community. That was not that was like outside of home. So that's always been a huge, strong point and backbone. And St. Anselm College, I think, is also a big part of my interest in a missionary program that I did during 2 summers called Totus Tuus, which was an awesome experience. And I don't think I would have known about the Totus Tuus program nor about any of the opportunities that I've been able to have over the past 4 years without St. Anselm College. So I really do owe a lot to the college and the community here.
Great. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then you talk about Totus Tuus a little bit too. That's how you and I met. Uh,
Mhm.
and I think, I mean, you and I have a lot of, actually, so we kind of double dip. So you and I have a good amount of, you and I would say, have a lot of either friends or people that we know that are in the same circles. You and I share the same circles with a lot of people. Um, Even though now being down in Texas and New Hampshire, and then of course wherever you end up, I think we're still going to kind of have those ties, right? Because it's funny too that the high school I went to, like Saint Anselm College, is like the place everyone goes, right? Since we're talking about Saint A's, by the way, and you're the first person on here to talk about Saint A's with, I just want to shout out to Mr. Bressler, Miss Terrio, and Father Seamus Griesbach. I haven't really shouted out to Father Seamus yet, but he's probably not even watching this, and that's okay. But nonetheless, great guy. But I'm just trying to like rattle off some names here that we have connections with, whether it's from Totus Tuus, New Hampshire, um, or obviously Massachusetts because I spent 3 years there, and then
Mhm.
St. A's. But like, you started. When did you start at St. A's?
I started in fall of 2020.
Okay, so oh, and that would have been so. Did you start on campus?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so the campus was open. So um, Matt Boulay,
Yep, I do know
Matt
Matt Blair.
McGuire,
Who is it?
Matthew McGuire.
Name sounds familiar.
He was in the same class, and then we had a few other people go from my class. Obviously, you and I know Amelie,
Mhm.
um, Amelie Pro, and
Yeah.
then Christine, Rachel, Camille, Juliana, not from St. A's, but New Hampshire.
Yeah, play.
Clay, yes. I know there are tons of names that I'm blanking on. Emma Slocum, her name's not Slocum anymore. It's Ortiz, I think, is her last name now.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Yes, I know Emma.
to Andrew, is that his name? I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have a lot of connections, and we're not even naming off everyone there that we have. So, um, yeah, no, just a really, really good place, I would say. Also, actually, last thing, because you also mentioned that you're music, and then we can start moving on to some more echo stuff. But I think the coolest place on campus is the center of your church is not the right word, but the monastery, right? The
The
center of
Abbey Church.
yeah,
That
the
we
Abbey Church. Do you want to explain what's in the center there as a music person?
um, that's a good question. Well, first off, the Abbey Church, we always kind of call it the heartbeat of campus, and for good reason. Back in 2020, when all of those lockdowns were going on, right before I was entering, the college had sent everyone home, but the one thing that was constant was the monks were still there praying um, every single day that we were gone. So we definitely consider the Abbey Church the heart of campus and the heartbeat of campus. And the heart always continues to go on as long as there's monks here. Um, in terms of music, I mean, I've had a lot of awesome experiences. Before I had come to St. A's, I had like dappled a little bit in like my high school choir and things like that, but I wasn't like super serious or involved in music.
Mhm.
But it was actually through my experiences with the college choir here and being able to play in a few different bands and things like that that really opens me up to not just a love of music, but also a love of sacred music. I took this wonderful class my sophomore year, focused on sacred music, with Dr. Eric Romani, who's the director of the choir. He's also the head of the cathedral choir and all the stuff for the Diocese of Manchester for music. And he's been such a great role model and influence on me during my time here. He is really the one that got me involved. So I started doing lessons and eventually declaring a music major. And in the Abbey, it's awesome because you have the organ. It's a beautiful organ, and we always have 11 o'clock masses on Sundays. And Brother Andrews played organ for like 60 years plus. Is He will just shred the organ.
That's
He's
awesome.
so good. Um, but it's a good opportunity to be able to experience things with that organ, to be able to play music during masses. I was just playing praise and worship music at an adoration last night in preparation for an ordination today. So there's been a lot of really good opportunities with music, and music is certainly a very important aspect of the liturgy. It's what helps us to lift our voices up to God. So for me, music it's always related to that aspect of prayer, and it's always something I love doing because it's just so different and so much fun to do.
Great. Does so you had mentioned to me before that you kind of want to touch base on your thesis. Is this kind of somewhat of what you were talking about in your thesis?
To some degree, yeah. I did my theology thesis on Father Bernard Lonergan, who's this Jesuit theologian from the 20th century. And I talked a lot about his theories about how Christ saves us and his soteriology. And I connected it over to the liturgy, and Lonergan makes the claim that the Mass has the power to save humanity. And it really does. And that Mass helps us take on the sacrificial attitude of Christ, that same attitude that he has in the Garden of Gethsemane, and um, just throughout his entire life as he's preparing for his passion, death, and resurrection. Um, so, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot there with that, and it's that continuation of that love of liturgy and that lifting up our hearts to God. and also being transformed ourselves. That happens through the liturgy. It's really something incredible, something I've done a lot of work on in my undergraduate institution, and has certainly impacted both the ways I see my faith and also the way I share it.
Great. Yeah, no, it sounds like St. A's has definitely formed you really, really well, liturgically as well as just spiritually. Um, as the full human, as in seminary or even within Echo, we talk about like the four pillars. It sounds like it's formed you really well in those four pillar areas. Preparing you for Echo, so kind of going back to that, what convinced you, to even apply to Echo in the first place?
Great question. I first heard about Echo my freshman year of college. Um, and at the time, as a freshman, you're not really thinking too much about grad schools, but I certainly started to develop an interest in it from that point, and had a few professors speak to me about it. Um, and I mean, I'd certainly say Echo provides a lot of opportunities that other graduate school programs that I've encountered just aren't able to provide. One of the big things that drew me in was the formation, being able to have a mentor, being able to be a part of a faith community at wherever your placement is. I just think that's so important and so powerful, um, because like us in ministry, like you're always learning something new each and every day, and it's all about that continual openness. So my hope is that through Echo I can hopefully continue to work on that openness and take a lot away in both ministry and in life, and be able to be a better minister whenever wherever the Lord calls me after Echo. um, Echo is also just an awesome academic program. I loved the idea of being able to join up with other people who are taking the same classes as I am during the summer, um, and to maybe play a game of volleyball, or to be in 2.5 hour classes every day with them.
Don't
Like
scare people off, Tom. Don't scare them
oh
off.
yeah, yeah, I know. But seriously, it is like it's a very open and welcoming community, and it's certainly a community I'm very excited to be entering into, and one that I think is really going to help me to both connect to my faith and also just to have a really good experience in the Echo program.
Great. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Certainly, again, looking forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. I mentioned that to you off camera, but so I guess let's walk through, because it's fairly recent for you. These last few months have been fairly recent memory for you. What was your interview process like that week? What did that kind of look like for you?
That's a good question. Um, well, I flew out to South Bend. And I mean, that first night is really just like a basic orientation. We get some talks with Scott, we get some dinner. It's really just a night really focused on building up your community. And in fact, most of the discernment days are you being able to interact with the people that you're meeting, um, and to form those connections, and also, just to have an awesome experience that you can discern with. And some of the best ways to discern are in community. Um, I had my interview, I was the very first time slot. It was like Monday at 9 a.m.
Attaboy.
Yep, definitely did not sleep the night before, um, but like when we come in, they tell us, and Scott was very adamant on this. He's like, your interviews are really just a conversation, and when I went in, I didn't really know what to expect, but it really was just a conversation. We sat down and we talked about all sorts of things, ranging from my life at St. A's to different experiences that I've had and things like that. But it's really not meant to be something that's intimidating or anything like that. It's very open. It's very free flowing for the most part, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, and I got to meet just some amazing, amazing people during my interview. And then afterwards, there's quite a few pockets of like free time, which is great because I'm still a college student and had to be working on a little homework. Yep. Mass of the Basilica, which is so awesome. It was my first time really encountering like a confession line that would continue through to Mass. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that's a really powerful image for me. And then just continuing to build up those connections. Like there were times where I had the entire afternoon off and then maybe I took a nap for an hour and then I came downstairs and just got to socialize with people and talk with them about how things are going and about their lives. And I met some great friends from San Diego who I still have connections with. I don't know. I
Did you
don't
know them
believe.
before?
What was that?
Did you know them before, or did you just made friends
No.
with them at the?
Yeah. Yeah, I just met them and made friends with them, and we still chat. They're both awesome, and yeah, it's and even then, like some of the people that I met, like I'm still like texting on Instagram or like we're still chatting about our experiences during the discernment days. It's just so awesome. During the nighttime, we had some witness talks, which were really powerful and really good. Um, we what else did we do? I mean, like dinner. And on Tuesday night we had like the whole Echo cohort there, or the people who were interviewing for it, and we were up in the like top tiers of the football stadium, which I took pictures of and made everyone immediately jealous when I came back home.
Good man, good man.
Yeah, it was good, and the food was great. It was like a taco bar, and we just sat down, and again, more conversation. Just great opportunities to talk with other people and to listen to amazing people talk about the Echo program and what it's able to do and accomplish. Um, and then the following day, my flight wasn't until about 3 in the afternoon, so I had some free time in the morning. So I got to sneak into the library for a bit and do some homework towards the top levels too. So it was like a nice view of all of Notre Dame.
Did you happen to go on the 10th floor?
I gotta think. It was either the 10th or 11th. It was the one with all of the theology section.
That would be like 11 or 12, 13. I'm not going to tell you what's there, but there's a really nice view from the top, from the 10th floor.
Okay,
So
that is
we at the
noted for
south end,
sure.
and for anybody else who's, you know, listening to this, who potentially got an Echo, or is looking at Echo, if you do go on the sermon day, go to the 10th floor of the library. Echo 19s, 20s, you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm glad you got to do that for sure.
Yeah, but it was an awesome experience. And again, some of those connections I still have. And um, I think we started up a rosary group afterwards too. Like, it is really just an amazing group of very holy people and people that want to serve the Lord and do whatever they can to spread their faith. And it's just such a powerful thing to see.
Great. Yeah, and you got to spend the week with our good friend Audrey too. So
I did,
that was
yes.
good. That was good. Um, great. So maybe walk us through like I, I hope this doesn't bring any tension. Walk us through that waiting period.
Oh boy, that's a good
It's
question.
hard.
Good thing, yeah. Um, I think a lot of people were asking me what like the interview was going to be. The hardest part was what they were expecting, and for me, the waiting was the hardest part. Um, so like I had gone in mid-February, and I came back to campus and kind of resumed life. Getting ready for midterms and finishing up senior year things with comprehensive exams and things like that. And I remember Scott letting us know, okay, you'll hear from us between like, was it maybe like March 3rd to like March 15th or something like that. So it's a week and a half range. March 3rd comes and goes, and I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, still going strong here. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. And I do have to say, I don't think I've ever been on top of my inbox so much in my life.
Yep.
I was clearing out emails. It was a very nice inbox for the
And the
time.
junk mail. You got to check the junk mail.
Oh, yes, and the junk mail. I cleared that out as well to make sure that I could see any notifications that came through. Um, and then that first week had ended. I still hadn't heard anything. And we had an early spring break at Saint Anselm this year. So the following week was spring break, and I went to Austria and Switzerland with my college choir. I was like, oh boy, well, I guess I'm gonna hear back from Echo in the middle of Austria and Switzerland. Pretty nerve-wracking. So I remember like walking the streets of Vienna and like taking a few peeks at my phone here and there to see if there had been anything that had come through. And I ended up hearing on the last day, and they had delayed my decision. Um, and there was a lot going on with that too. Because then you're like, oh, like I have to wait more now. Okay. Uh, so I waited a little longer. I got back from Austria and Switzerland, had an awesome time there. Um, and I was kind of like what had happened the last time. I was expecting it, like they had delayed it at most to that Tuesday. So I was expecting it to come in that Tuesday. And that Monday, the email came in, and I wasn't even thinking of it. I just saw like an Outlook email that came in. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and I clicked it, and then I saw it was from Echo. I was like, oh, wow, this is big. And then the acceptance, which is such an honor and such a blessing.
Yeah.
But and a lot of my Lent was centered around Lent. I mean, excuse me, sorry. A lot of my Lent was centered around that waiting. I listen a lot to Hollow, that app for like Catholic meditation, and they had this Lent 40 challenge this year, and they were talking a lot about surrender, um, following the story of Father Walter St. Jacques and
Of course.
his book He Remembered or He Leadeth Me.
Do I have that book on my? I don't. I think I have that at home, but I don't have it on the shelf here. But I do have it.
Yeah, it's a great book. If any of you have not read it, I highly recommend it.
Read it.
Yeah, but Hollow did like this whole challenge about it, and the whole theme surrounding it was surrender. So it really helped me focusing in a lot on the waiting and using that as a surrender moment to say like, all right, well, I'm not in control of this, Jesus, and I want your will to be done. So whatever happens is going to happen, and I'm just going to surrender and put myself fully into that surrender with you each and every day as I'm waiting. And even now, like since my acceptance, like we were sent out the parish survey, and I filled that out, and it's another season of waiting again, waiting to hear where I'm going to be placed around the country, and waiting for my graduation to come and things like that. The waiting's hard, it is, but I also think it is a really rewarding part of the experience because I think for me personally, it's really taught me a lot about surrendering and um, being patient with the Lord and with my own desires and things like that.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. That's fantastic. The way that you just described it, the eloquence of it, is definitely true. Because you and I actually had the same situation. We were both delayed or what was it called? Waitlisted, basically, right? For graduate school, we'll call it that. And when you receive that message of like, yeah, we'll get back to you within 5 days or 4 days. It's like, well, if I've waited the 10 days and longer because of the interview, what's another 4 days, right? So
Mhm.
certainly, the waiting can be a challenge, but there is a lot of fruit that comes with it. Even if the realization is like, oh, I'm not a patient person at all. Like, there's even fruit in that.
Yes,
Like,
that too,
we have
definitely.
people that were like, "Yeah, what'd you learn about yourself over that waiting period?" "Oh, I don't like to wait." "Oh, I'm not patient." Fair enough. You know, it's things to learn. But that's awesome. But yeah, so you're still waiting for your placement
Hmm.
to speak, and you got the list, and you're on the parish track, and so you guys had a list of eight, 7 or 8 placements, I think, and
Seven.
you just
Yeah.
kind of put them in a preference order. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's great. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this year, again, teaching, I don't remember all of them because I'm all, with not being on teaching track, I lost that information in my mind. But this year, I think you got Ireland, Jacksonville, or St. Augustine rather, but Jacksonville, Tampa or St. Pete's, uh, Indianapolis. No, that would be a teaching position, I think. So you got Gary, you got Lafayette,
Mhm.
right? You got Milwaukee, I think,
Yep.
and then Newark, New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yep. And then Ireland, St. Petersburg, St. Augustine. I don't know if you mentioned that
Yeah,
one.
that's Jacksonville. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. And Houston, Galveston
Oh,
as
Houston,
well. Yeah,
guys,
right where you are.
right where I'm at. Yeah, exactly. Should have known that. That's okay. Um, I'm not gonna put you on the spot. I'm not gonna ask you what your preferences were. We're gonna kind of surprise people with that another time when the announcements come out.
Hmm.
But no, great. So, what type of ministry are you hoping to do in your parish?
Um, I'm really open to just about anything, but I'd say definitely where I feel most called are certainly adult ministry, OCIA, liturgical ministry. Um, I also put down like some forms of high school ministry as well, high school, college level. I love working with young adults, and I've done a lot of work in my campus ministry here. So I know that there was a high school campus ministry placement and also a was it a Newman Center placement
Yeah.
or something like that, working with a college. So like I'd be really open to anything, but those were I think the things that stood out to me most. And again, I'm just excited to dive in and to do whatever the Lord's calling me to, and whatever I am end up doing. I'm just excited to head full in.
The interesting thing I think about this program for a lot of us, not all of us, because some of us are like come from our home area, in our placement. Um, but I do think Echo has this way of really emphasizing the scripture of, or the passage rather, that a prophet's not accepted in his hometown, right? It really like kind of forces you to be stretched. And so you have to get to know this whole new community that you don't know how they operate, or you might have a language barrier. Like I tell people all the time, I'm used to living on like by the border, but the Canadian border, not the Mexican border. And so things are just very different. Houston's very ironic because it has no oh wow, what is it? Wow, okay, I just blanked on what I was gonna say. Um, Either way, like, things are just very, very different. So I think Echo's really good about stretching you in that way, and I'm sure you're gonna find that you're gonna be stretched no matter where you get placed. Um, so that would be certainly something I would expect that you would probably find in your time. So just one other question, then I'd like to kind of play a quick game with you, if that's cool with you.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to somebody thinking about Echo or preparing their application process?
I would say um, I think the first and foremost thing is to be open to wherever the Lord's calling you, and just allow the Lord to let that transformation happen in your life. Because when you give the Lord your heart and you give the Lord your desires and your will, He really can transform it into something very beautiful and something beyond where you'd ever imagine yourself being. Um, So I'd really emphasize, be open to um, entering into the discernment process for Echo. Be open to having those conversations, whether that be with Scott or um, with any of the staff involved with Echo or with any of us. Just be open um, and let the Lord kind of take it over, because that's where I think the most powerful things are going to happen, as has been the case with me, and I think most of the students in the Echo program can agree with me when I say it's probably happened to most of us, that that openness is really where the Lord can do some awesome work.
Yeah, it's vital. It's vital. No, that's great. That's great. Just jumping back real quick, what I was gonna say is in Houston, there's no zoning. And so
Uh,
like you can have a school next to a supermarket, next to like, like a Home Depot, and then like a restaurant. That's all I was gonna say. And so being from New England, not really used to that. We're used to, as you know, zoning territories. So
mhm.
it's a very different experience. So that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, great. So let's play a quick game. I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions, and just let me know what the quickest response that comes to mind. You ready?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Best place to relax at St. A's.
Abbey Church.
Best food at St. A's.
Chicken parm calzone.
Summer, fall, winter, or spring.
Winter/spring.
Uh, all right, great. Favorite type of music.
Country folk.
Okay. Do you off of that? Do you like the band Camp?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, just checking.
Exact area I'm thinking of.
Favorite hobby.
Hiking.
Love it. Love it. Favorite current favorite gospel.
Luke.
Great. Favorite state other than New Hampshire or Massachusetts.
Oh, all right. Can I say Maine?
You can suck up if you want. That's okay. Saint who you want to learn more about.
Hmm. Um, Saint Perpetua and Felicity.
Great. Current favorite passage.
Oh God, it's a good question. Um, it's more than one verse, but the canticle in Philippians 2.
Great. Best class taken at St. A's.
Sacred music.
Favorite book.
Some good
Not
questions.
scripture, just books in general.
Um, oh my goodness, I don't know if I have an answer for that one. I'd probably say, sorry, give me a minute. I don't know why I'm blanking on every book I own. Oh, No Man is an Island.
Okay.
I just finished reading that one.
No, that's a good one. All right. So what is the thing you're most looking forward to in South Bend in the summer?
Um, I would say getting to know my community and hopefully playing some good games of volleyball or whatever
Great.
with the group. Just being able to make connections.
All right. Great. And then controversial question. Remove
Oh,
one state from New England and then add a state that's not New England to New England.
okay, well, the removal of a state is easy. That's Connecticut. Um, sorry, people from Connecticut. And actually, I'd probably merge um, the northern part of Connecticut with the western part of Massachusetts, um, to form a new state. I don't know what we'd call it, but
All right. No, that's good. Funny enough, every New England person I've had on here that was not from Connecticut has said Connecticut.
oh
So
my goodness,
we're
I believe that.
I think we're all kind of in the same boat. Nothing against Connecticut. We love Connecticut.
No.
But Vermont brings the maple creamies. You
Mhm,
know, you guys bring the beaches, you bring the Cape, right?
mhm.
We bring the blueberries, we bring the bears and things of that sort. We bring all the hiking. New Hampshire brings the scenery and Santa's Village.
It's pretty
And
good.
they also bring the chicken finger.
Oh yes, the Puritan restaurant in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Exactly. I think everyone from New Hampshire would be upset if I didn't say that. And
hmm
Rhode Island is just a really small, nice place and brings us Providence College. So by default, I think we're kind of looking at I think we're looking at Connecticut.
Yeah, and even sports wise, Connecticut's kind of like half and half Patriots, half New York.
This is great though. I mean, Giants fan. So um that's another story for another day. But
Yes.
all right, well, Tom, thank you for joining us on Echoing Theology. Really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you for having me on. It's been a great time.
Great. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for the episode 10 of Echoing Theology. Be on the lookout for episode 11 coming out soon. Have a great day, and John Paul II, pray for us.